grandkids, whenever I called him on the phone, I would say, "Hey, Grandpa, it's your favorite grandson." And he'd say, "Why, this must be Billy." But we all know he just recognized my voice. He indulged my joke. You know, it's interesting, the perspective of a grandkid to a grandpa, because us as grandkids, we don't get the whole picture. We always just saw Grandpa. We never really saw Frank, the boy, living through the Great Depression in Chicago. We never saw Frank, the young man, living through wartime. We never saw Frank, the World War II pilot. We never saw Frank, the husband. We never saw Frank, the father, or Frank, the General Mills employee. To us, he was just Grandpa. He was the lighthearted jokester, the conductor, the music director, a member of the great 16 singing men. He was the lover of music. I remember I visited him once in his office right over there, and he said, "Billy, come here, I want to show you something." And he went into his office and he pulled a picture off the wall. And it was a picture of him in front of a choir at Moody Church in Chicago. And he was so proud of that picture. And there was so much glory in it. And he just looked. He just loved music. He knew music was the closest thing to touch heaven. And it was beautiful. What really made him Grandpa was he kept this old pool at his house. This pool leaked, and he would patch it. This thing should have been trashed a long time ago, but he kept it alive, just so that we could come over and swim. And while we were swimming, Grandma would make a plate full of peanut butter and jelly, and she would add a layer of butter. So when we were tired from swimming, we'd come in and eat them. He was Grandpa because when Mom and Dad needed a babysitter, Grandpa always stepped up to the job. And he didn't just babysit. He would take the day to take us to the zoo or a theme park. I remember he took me to the Lincoln Park Zoo in Chicago once so I could see the tigers. I had a thing for tigers. And we went and saw the tigers, and later he found a card, a Hallmark card or something, with a picture of a tiger at the zoo on it. And he sent it to me, just because he thought I liked the picture. I remember he took me once to Chicago, and we went up to the top of the Sears Tower. And we went up there about the middle of the day, and I said, "Grandpa, can we stay so I can see the night lights?" And it was probably like 2 o'clock or something. But for him, there was no question. He waited all those hours with me so I can see the night lights. That's Grandpa. He would drive long distances just to see my Little League baseball games. Even just a few weeks ago, he drove 3 hours each way just to go to my brother's birthday dinner. He was 91. Every Christmas and birthday, he would give us checks in amounts more than he probably shouldn't have given a young child. He was always a joke teller. And the one I always have remembered is, "Roses are red, violets are blue. You think this will rhyme, but it won't." He would always tell a joke like that, and he would just pause waiting for my reaction, and then he would just start laughing himself. And I couldn't help but laugh at his simple and lighthearted humor. When he turned 90, he told me he was still trying to figure out what he wanted to be when he grows up. He had this apron that said 39 forever on it. And he would say, I've been 39 for 50 years. He never seemed to age in his mind or even his body. And he was young until the day he died. And all of us grandkids kind of hope we got his DNA. He often took us out to eat, and we all kind of knew that Grandpa was going to pay. So we kind of took advantage of that. I think he knew it, but for him, it was worth every penny. He was always generous, and not just at the restaurant. All of us grandkids thought the fact that he was a World War II pilot was just so cool. But he never used that fact to gain glory or recognition for himself. He never did. There's only 3 men in the world that are allowed to kiss my wife. Myself, her dad, and Grandpa. He would always greet her with a very tender kiss on the cheek. And my wife would always tell me, I have a crush on your Grandpa. He was a real gentleman. His overwhelming love for each of us grandkids leaped out in his tender, slightly long, and tight hugs. He cherished everyone and every moment. Each of us grandkids were precious to him, and that's what made him precious to us. There was a real sense that he was a patriarch, a real man of faith, always leading the prayer before the big family holiday meal, and he always prayed an elegant, beautiful prayer, almost musical. He was a cornerstone of faith for the whole family, and we do have an incredible family. And our family has a foundation in Christ and in love, and he established that. And that's what made him a great man, and that's what made him a grandpa.